Football League. Today, the Atlanta Falcons against the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Stadium, a sellout. Temperature 65 degrees. Blue skies, bright sunshine. A perfect day for football. Hi, everybody. I'm Scully, along with John Madden. John, going into this ball game with names like Seif and Bratkowski, right away you think of offense.
And I think that's the type of game we're going to have. It's going to be an exciting day today. I was talking to the Atlanta coaches last night, and they said, you know, we can move the ball. I don't know if we can get them out. When I finally figured out what that meant, he meant to say is, you know, we can move it. I don't know if we can stop them. And I think that's going to be true of both teams. It's going to be that type of game. They can both move the ball, and that's the strength of both teams as their offenses. So I think we're going to have a real shootout here today, Vince. So let's get it started.
All right, John. Atlanta won the toss, has elected to receive, and so Steve Cox, who punts, will bail out now. And Cox will be kicking off for Cleveland. High end-over-end kick. Reggie Smith playing with a broken nose. Fumbles at the 7. On his feet at the 15, 20, 25, and is finally brought down out about the 29-yard line on a good tackle at the last second by the rookie Hanford Dixon. Here's the way Atlanta now will stack up. Bartkowski with Lynn Kane and William Andrews. Wallace Francis and Reggie Rucker. Not Reggie Rucker. Junior Miller. And up front with Ken, Scott, Van Note, Thielman, and Sanders. So Atlanta will put it in play. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 27-yard line. Junior Miller backs off now as a wingback instead of a tight end. Wallace Francis, the wide receiver, on the right side. And they try the left side of the Cleveland line, and no gain. Is there anything to gather, John, the fact that they punched at the left side right away?
Well, that's the thing that they want to do. They, you know, of course, they have Mike Ken playing there at left tackle, who's one of the best, and they think they can run behind him.
Well, he'll be running with Harris, Bradley, and Alzado, the three-man front. Good, Jackson, Ambrose, and Matthews with Bolden and Dixon, along with Darden and Scott at the safety. So it is 2nd and 8 on the 29. Out of the eye this time with Andrews, the up back. Jenkins, the wide receiver, on the right side, and they go to William Andrews, and he's across and bull down at about the 32. That's Art Modell, the owner of the Cleveland Browns. He has seen his club frustrated last year and off to a slow start at 1 and 2.
I'll tell you, he's a heck of a guy, though. You know, he's one of the owners that I had the utmost respect for in the National Football League. You see the guy to the left there? That's Steve Rosenblum.
There you can see the Atlanta Falcons and what the offense has done. 8th in rushing, 17th in passing. So it is 3rd and 4 on the 33. Kane and Andrews, the setbacks. Francis in a slot right, and they go to Andrews, and he gets out across the 35, and it was Jerry Shirk, number 72, who brought him down. The same Shirk who thought he was finished because of a staph infection in the knee, and he made the critical tackle. So Johnny James, who's been averaging 38 yards a punt, will try and boot it out of there from the Atlanta 25. And deep is Cleotha Montgomery. Montgomery, the younger brother of the illustrious Wilbert Montgomery of the Philadelphia Eagles. There he is. Cleveland from Cincinnati. He's a 2-year man out of Abilene Christian.
He's the only Montgomery playing today, isn't he?
That's right. Wilbert's going to be out. John James getting his protection, and from the 25, hangs it down to the Cleveland 15. Fumbled, and it looked like it was recovered by Atlanta at about the 16-yard line. Ray Strong, number 25, the man who's usually down on punts, is the man who fell on it. Take another look. Cleotha had troubles.
Well, you know what his trouble then was? He misjudged that ball. You know, they should be in position and waiting for it, and if anything, stepping forward to catch it. As we saw there, he took 3 steps backward just as he was catching the ball. He misjudged it.
So Ray Strong recovers Montgomery's fumble, 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 16-yard line. Andrews and Kane. Junior Miller, the tight end, is on the left side. And they're going to go that way with Kane. Good block by Andrews. And Kane gets to about the 13-yard line. Don Good, the 8-year man out of Kansas, number 50, making the stop on the right side.
You know, the Atlanta Falcons, of course, haven't thrown the ball yet. I know Cleveland felt the one thing they had to do is stop the run and stop William Andrews. Now, Atlanta uses two formations. One is when Andrews is behind the fullback, behind the quarterback, he usually carries the ball. In the I formation, it's usually Kane.
2nd and 7 on the Cleveland 13-yard line. Play action fake. Bartkowski going to Junior Miller, no good. And for Dixon, the rookie, defending.
They try to play pass on that down, and that's a good time to do that. You know, the second down, you can't do it on 3rd down. See, he fakes to Andrews, he fakes to Kane. Andrews is through in the middle. Junior Miller crosses to the side. He was open. He had a 3-step, and Bartkowski just got it out in front too much.
Steve Bartkowski led the NFL with 31 touchdown passes last year, and he has 7 in a tie this year. So it's 3rd and 7 on the Cleveland 13. Bartkowski hit and dropped, and he took a lick, this time by Harris. That's Marshall Harris, 2 years out of TCU. He's the boy who walked out of the Jets camp and then came back and Cleveland got him.
You know, we'll see it again here. Now, Marshall Harris is working on Eric Sanders. He's a rookie. He's starting his first game. Warren Bryant is out of this game. We see it right there where he just comes up. Sanders just comes up over the top. Harris just comes up over the top of Sanders and gets Bartkowski.
So Mick Luckhurst with a hole by Johnny James at the 26-yard line. A 36-yard field goal attempt is up and good. Luckhurst is now 4 for 7 in Atlanta with 11 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter. It's the Falcons capitalizing on the Montgomery fumble, leading 3-0. Atlanta leading 3-0. Mick Luckhurst, who just kicked the field goal to get them out in front with 11:30, will be teeing it up on the 35-yard line. And deep for Cleveland, Cleotha Montgomery, number 24. He's on the left-hand side of your screen. Charles White, the big man on campus at USC, will be back there with him helping out on the kickoff. A left-footed kick by Luckhurst, and it's a knuckleball going down to the 20-yard line. Picked up there by a linebacker, and he is hammered immediately, and that would be Eddie Johnson, who doesn't usually touch the football, but he picks it up, and he's knocked out of bounds as he got to the 25. And we'll see if they spot it any more than that. They'll spot it at the 27. So Cleveland will put it in play. 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 27, and Brian Sipe trying to get things going as he talks to Dave Logan, the wide receiver on the left side. There you can see White and Mike Pruitt, Logan and Reggie Rucker, the wide receivers. And they have Logan go to the left side. Rucker wide right. Sipe goes to the air to Reggie Rucker. He takes it out of bounds at the 35-yard line. So they picked up 8. First shot out of the barrel.
You know, Coach Sam Ritigliano says that the running game is boring to him, and he said if he ever had to be a running team, he'd be bored all the time, so might as well start off throwing it.
Boy, things have not been boring. We'll see if the Falcons can settle them down with Yates, Smith, and Fomina up front. Richardson, Kuykendall, Curry, and Laughlin are the linebackers. Butler, Johnson, Pridemore, and Glazebrook defensively in the backfield. So it is 2nd and 2 from the 35. Pruitt, and Pruitt picks up the first down, getting to the 40-yard line. And remember, that's Cleveland's strength, ball control.
And I can see that they'll run at that right side of the Atlanta defense. You know, they have Laughlin playing there at the right linebacker and Fomina at the right end. They're missing 2 starters, Joel Williams and Jeff Merrill. And that could hurt this defense.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it, John. It's 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 40-yard line, and the Browns go slot left with Rucker inside Logan. Mike Pruitt and Charles White, the running back. Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt is out to about the 49-yard line, very close to the first down.
Well, I can see that Atlanta, you know, they were worried last night. We were talking, they were saying, we have stop Mike Pruitt. You know, they were worried about the fullback run, and we can see why here. See, it's just a little straight ahead handoff and a cutback by Pruitt. He reads the nose tackle. The nose tackle goes right, he cuts left. He goes left, he cuts right.
Mike Pruitt has had 2 consecutive years where he has rushed for 1,000 yards, and even with a bad leg last week, he went 70 yards against Cincinnati. 2nd and 1. Charles White is in the backfield, and he's down to the Atlanta 40-yard line. 1st and 10, Cleveland.
I'll tell you, Charles White hit that hole very quick. It was a lead by the fullback, and he really got in there behind the good blocking of Joe DeLamiere and Cody Ryson. We'll watch it here. See, it's a little pull with the lead right there. When Charles White, he knows that from his USC days. When he gets his shoulder square, he can really get into the backfield.
So 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 40-yard line. Logan left and Rucker right. And Sipe at the wheel started on his own 27. Play action fake to Mike Pruitt. And the pass juggled and broken up. And all alone was Tom Pridemore. Pridemore, who picked one off and went 101 yards last week, had another golden opportunity.
He would have had 60 yards on that one, Vin, because there would have been no one between him and the goal line.
So it is 2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 40-yard line. If you joined us a little late, Cleotha Montgomery fumbled the first punt of the day, recovered by Atlanta on the Cleveland 16, and eventually a Mick Luckhurst field goal put Atlanta out in front. And now Brian Sipe has it 2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 40. Both backs releasing, and Charles White on a screen on the left side, but he is hammered coming in from the right side. Was Don Smith, number 65, to pinch him off, and then Laughlin came along. And as they talk about the Atlanta defense, they refer to it as a swarm, John.
I was going to say it was Don Smith and about 7 other guys.
So they picked up 2. That makes it 3rd and 8 on the Atlanta 38-yard line. You know, Atlanta's one of the 5 undefeated teams, but the only one which has allowed more total yardage than it has accumulated over the first 3 weeks of the season. 3rd and 8 on the 38 of Atlanta. Same formation, Logan left and Rucker right. On a play-action fake to Mike Pruitt, a great diving catch coming across from the right side. What a reception by Ozzie Newsome, the big tight end, who had caught 17 going into this game.
He made that because he was big. This is the type of thing where they play pass and throw away from it. Now watch this. Sipe will play pass to the left. Oops, Smith darn near jumped off sides there. He'll play pass to the left and throw back to the middle to Newsome. See, he fakes the ball there to Pruitt, and then he's looking, he finds Newsome breaking on an end right here. He had double coverage.
Back to live, 1st and 10 on the 22. Mike Pruitt running into a group at about the 20-yard line. So Mike might have picked up 2 yards at the most.
You know, that is a group. That's 11 guys. You know, all 11 red jerseys were at that point of attack. On that attack. I think this defense, this Atlanta Falcons defense, does the best job of swarming or gang tackling or getting to the ball or whatever you call it of any team in the National Football League.
And, of course, they missed Joel Williams, who is out with torn cartilage. He had surgery the other day. 2nd and 8 now on the Atlanta 20-yard line. Newsome, the tight end, goes on the left side, and they go slot right. Brian Sipe under a rush, and he's dropped at the 30-yard line. Coming in hard is Don Smith, number 65.
You know, I was talking to Lehman Bennett last night, and he said that Don Smith, as we see him, he's the nose tackle there. You see him 65. He's right over the center. He starts to work straight up the field and then goes right between Jackson and De Leon. But Lehman was saying that he enjoys playing nose tackle much more since they put in the new rule that the guards can't chop or cut the nose tackle. It's kind of fun to play it that way. It wasn't fun the other way.
I bet. 3rd and about 18 on the 28. And it's a draw to Mike Pruitt. And he's inside the 20-yard line, but of course he has to get down to about the 13-yard line looking for the first down.
Of course, I think they were just on that play. Then they had the 3rd and extreme long, so they were trying to run a draw to Pruitt to get in better field position for the field goal.
And they have a 4th and 8 now on the Atlanta 20-yard line. And Dave Jacobs, who is only 5'7", 2 years out of Syracuse, originally drafted by Denver, then went to the Jets, and they picked him up here as a free agent. The hold by Dave Logan at the 28. The spot and the kick. It is no good. So Dave Jacobs missing a 38-yard field goal attempt, and Atlanta dodges a bullet after Cleveland started on its own 27. And with 5:52 in the first quarter, it's 3-0 Atlanta. Atlanta in its 3rd possession. The other 2 they were not able to move even though they're leading, and they have it 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. Wojtkowski's going to send it up deep down the middle, and the reception is made at about the 46-yard line, cutting across, and the tackle by Tom Darden.
That's Alfred Jenkins out here. You know, he only weighs 155 pounds. He's really something. Now, they say he plays like he's 6'2". Now, watch him on the end there. Right after he catches that ball, does he get crunched?
Jenkins has caught a touchdown pass in each of the first 3 games, so you really have to watch him. William Andrews on a sweep outside the left. And Andrews across the 40 and very close to the first down as they knock him out of bounds.
Of course, he's also rushing for 5.3. You know, anything over 5 yards per carry is outstanding.
2nd and 2 on the Cleveland 38. Miller now, the tight end, is suddenly in motion. And it's William Andrews. Andrews across the 35, picking up the first down. 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 32. James Mayberry is now in there with Kane, and Lynn Kane got away from Robert Jackson, but he's going to run into a swarm of Browns. Jackson had broken through, but he couldn't get him. But good, and Clay Matthews could.
See Clay Matthews there, 57. I remember when his dad played for the 49ers. Now watch Kane here. See, he tries to get the bounce out. He has the guard Thielman pulling in front of him. And, of course, he doesn't have anything there. And look at the group that meet him. Whew. You know, does he take a beating, Lynn Kane? Lehman Bennett was telling me that, you know, sometimes he just can't practice all week. And I said, well, the beating that he takes on Sunday, it's not surprising.
It's interesting, too, that Lynn Kane did the blocking at SC for Charles White. 2nd and 10 on the Cleveland 32. Play action fake. And Bartkowski goes down at the 46-yard line. Lyle Alzado will get credit for it, but there are a lot of people putting the heat on him.
I think that's one of the plays that the Falcons will take out. It was a screen pass, Ben, and it was a double screen, as we'll see it again. Now, he comes back here, and he's going to fake a screen to the right. See, he fakes the run to the right, fake the screen to the right. Now he's trying to come back here to Andrews on the screen to the left, and the pass rush got to him before they had a chance to set it up.
So it is 3rd and 24 on the Cleveland 46. A loss of 14 yards on the play. Bartkowski setting up and then dumping off over Andrews' head and out of bounds. Clay Matthews was right there and would have belted him anyway.
I'll tell you what caused that one. They had Junior Miller running straight down the field, and Curtis Weathers, number 55, who was playing linebacker for the first time this year, was on him. And look at the crowd. They're going crazy for this defense. But he was trying to hit Junior Miller, and he was man-on-man with linebacker Curtis Weathers, and he didn't beat him.
So Atlanta has had the ball 3 times, and they haven't really been able to move it at all. Cleotha Montgomery standing on the Cleveland 10-yard line, and John James will be punting from the Atlanta 45. James hangs it down the right side, and Montgomery fumbles again. Loose ball, and recovered by Cleveland. I don't know whether Montgomery is having trouble. Is the sun in his eyes, or he's just misjudging James's punt?
I don't know. You know, that's the 3rd kick that he misjudged. You see, he's underneath there. Now, you have to catch a ball out in front of you, and he brought it in too much, Ben, where it looked like the ball hit against his shoulder pads. And that's why you want it out in front. He's shaking his head, and I don't think it's the sun. I think that he's misjudged 3 kicks.
And, of course, now, after 3 of them, it's really implanted in his head. It must be tough for the coach to get him over that.
And it is. And, you know, He'd probably like to bring back Stickham.
Yeah, right, which is against the rule these days. 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 16-yard line. Mike Pruitt and Charles White, the running backs. Rucker and Logan in a slot left. Glazebrook is going to pick up Rucker. Mike Pruitt. And he was hit head-on by Buddy Curry as time has just about run out in the first quarter.
Cleveland would, you know, behind their best tackle, Doug Deacon. And, of course, they're trying to work the side where Laughlin...
Here at Cleveland, and the difference is a fumbled punt and an Atlanta recovery and a field goal by the Falcons. Atlanta leading Cleveland 3-0, 13:59 left in the second quarter, and Atlanta has it 1st and 10 on the Falcon 36. Andrews and Kane, the running backs. Now they release Andrews at the other end of the catch, and down he goes at about the 38-yard line. He was picked up easily by Bruce Huther, who used to play for Dallas, number 58, and the reason Huther is in there, Robert L. Jackson, who was the emotional leader, hurt his hand and left the field for x-rays. 7 on the Atlanta 39-yard line. Jenkins and Francis slot left. They pitch back to William Andrews. He got a block, and he's to the 45-yard line. Those 2 years, some great rushing as you look at Lyle Alzado. Alzado's playing with a full calf muscle. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 47. It's Francis in motion to the left. The backs again release, and Bartkowski throwing to Junior Miller, and the tight end is finally brought down by Scott, but not before he made the first down, and the Falcons on their first drive of the day.
He said it really hasn't been his fault that they haven't, but he thinks that they're giving him more coverage this year, and he said one thing that they want to do in this game, or starting with this game, is establish Junior Miller more as a receiver than they have in the first few games. And that's not bad. When he gets going in the open field, I'll tell you, he's something to bring down, isn't he?
He's only caught 6 passes in the first 3 games. 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 42, and there's a draw to Andrews, and Ron Bolton finally brings him down, but not before he crossed the 35-yard line, and he's dropped on the Cleveland 34. 2nd and 2 on the 34. Francis and Jenkins go slot left again. And William Andrews finding a hole, got across the 30 to the 29 and picked up the first down. Meanwhile, on the Cleveland bench, we were talking before about Robert L. Jackson and his hand. One reason why Bruce Huther was in there.
They said again.
1st and 10 on the Cleveland 30-yard line. And there goes the workhorse, William Andrews, to about the 21-yard line. It's just Andrews after Andrews after Andrews. He's rushed for 47 yards right now, averaging a little 4.7 a carry. 2nd and 1 from the 21. Second man, Lynn Kane. And Kane didn't find a hole. They just lost sight of him, I believe, and he squeezed in for the first down.
You know, and he does that. Lynn Kane is, you know, not a pretty runner, but he always does this. Last week against the 49ers, they had 7 guys miss my tackle. Well, watch, he just goes right into the pile, and then he says, oh, here's a little hole. There's a guy, run into my own guy underneath and get a first down.
He must be good at coming home late. 1st and 10 on the 18-yard line of Cleveland. And Bartkowski going deep in the end zone. He's got Jenkins. Touchdown. And that means Alfred Jenkins has caught a touchdown pass in all 4 games this year.
And he's the guy, he's going to catch it in a lot more games. I knew it was just a matter of time before they went deep to Jenkins. See, they had worked Andrews, they had worked him, then they faked to him on the draw. That held the Cleveland defense, and here we get Jenkins out there, man-to-man, and that's all he needs.
And man-to-man on a rookie. Watch it again.
I'll tell you, watch that move that he makes. You see, he made a move into the post. That's called a post corner. He made the move to the post. He sold Dixon on the post and went back to the corner.
The kick is good. Penalty, however, on it. As you look at Alfred, generally about 55 pounds, would you say? Those are the numbers, but it doesn't show you the tremendous fake Jenkins put on Hanford Dixon. It is 10-0 in favor of the Falcons. Luckhurst kicking from the 35. Charles White and Cleotha Montgomery, and he fumbled it again to the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and finally brought down at about the 35-yard line. And the man who brought him down is Luckhurst. Otherwise, they're in a lot of trouble.
I think he was upset with missing that, and he said, I have to run it back. Now, watch this move. A post is a deep inside move. A corner is a deep outside. A post corner is a combination. Stark really sold him on the post. Hanford Dixon didn't have a chance.
Well, here comes Cleveland now after a 38-yard return, 3 yards deep in the end zone by Montgomery. 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 35. Logan left along with Rucker. Mike Pruitt and Greg Pruitt. And Sipe over the middle, Ozzie Newsome. And Newsome is hit at the 40-yard line. He was hooked by number 50, Buddy Curry.
Look at all those red jerseys in that picture, Ben. They're all around the receiver, and it looks like one of them was too many, or too late, or too much too late, or too many too late.
And there's going to be a tack-on penalty coming up. Jerry Markwright, it's against Atlanta, and moves the ball down to the Falcon 44-yard line.
That was too many too late. The last one was one too many.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 65, defense, 1st down.
And, of course, that's Don Smith, who has been playing a great game for Atlanta. But Cleveland now, 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 44-yard line. Logan and Rucker left. Newsome is on the right side. Both Pruitts are in there. And now that's Ricky Feature is in motion to the right. Sipe throwing to Feature, no good. Al Richardson was there defending.
I think because, Sipe is upset with himself there. You see he has that thing on his elbow. It looks like one of those deals there just to keep it warm. But I think eventually Cleveland's going to have to open this thing up a little bit. And they're throwing those short passes and the dump off. And eventually they have to get to Newsome going deep or to their outside receivers. They're just dumping the ball off and going short.
Well, John Sipe's numbers right now, he's 6 for 9 for 45 yards. And on a 2nd and 10 from the Atlanta 44. The pass to the left side, no good. Intended for Dave Logan at the Atlanta 35, and Logan couldn't hold on to it.
Did you see him kick an Atlanta helmet over there in the side?
A reminder, coming up next, the New York Giants versus Dallas. Remember the big upset they pulled off last year. 3rd and 10 on the Atlanta 44. At the 30-yard line. 1st down for Cleveland as Dave Logan, the big guy out of Colorado, makes a great catch in a crowd.
And that's what they have to do, Ben. They have to get the ball to the outside receivers. Get the ball up the field on those 3rd down. He has good pass protection in there. Logan's running a hook. See, he makes the catch there, and it looks like he got a little ding when he got hit at the end. Watch the isolator. It's a double coverage here. You see, it's a double coverage. The corner is bumping him, and then they let him go. It's a zone double coverage. He works in the middle on the hook, catches a little spin, and boom, here comes 4 guys.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 29, and Charles White across the 20. Dropped at the 16-yard line. Bobby Butler brought him down.
Now, what's Charles White? The one great thing about Charles White, when he gets his shoulder square, he knows where that end zone is. See, it's a little trap. He has to bounce out, but now watch him run when he gets turned up. Right here, turn it on and get it to the goal line.
Well, all he did was rush for 49 touchdowns for USC, so he sure knows where the goal line is.
Some people thought he was too small. No way.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 16-yard line, and there's White trying to cut back. And he runs into Falcons, but he's dropped it about the 13-yard line.
There's the example of the play we were talking about when we were watching the film. All those USC tailbacks have a tendency to cut back too soon. The first thing they see, they'll cut back. Now, that was a sweep, It was going to the left, and Charles White made it an off-tackle play.
So it takes time for them to break old habits, huh?
And some of them never do it. You know, if you think of those great tailbacks, a lot of them, like Anthony Davis, you know, they've had problems in the pros because they couldn't adjust to a pro offense.
Well, it's 2nd and 7 on the Atlanta 13. White and Mike Pruitt. Sight looking right, going to Mike Pruitt at the 10, 5, hit at the 5, touchdown!
You see the legs on Mike Pruitt? That's where the power comes from. Look at that body that he has. You can't tackle him with arm tackles. You need a whole bunch. And those are the great players. The ones that get open. Look at this crowd. They're going crazy. And this is the type of play that makes a crowd go crazy. See, now Sipe is looking deep to his outside receiver. He gets Pruitt here. Now he gets turned up. Look at those legs. The tacklers just bounce off him. Keep going. Go backwards. Go forward. Boom. Get that ball across the goal line.
So now the kick by Dave Jacobs is good. And we got a dandy here with 6:39 to the half. It is 10-7 Atlanta.
Again, we'll see this again, but when you can get a big fullback out in the open, you know, Atlanta better have a lot of tacklers there because there's more where that one came from.
The tight end is a split end now on the left side. Sight going to Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt is belted 3 times at about the 26-yard line. He had to get up to about the 29. So he didn't quite get enough. And we have 1:47 to the half.
Right, and Atlanta takes time out. You see, they want to stop the clock now. Then it'll be change of possession, will stop it again, so they have plenty of time. Again, Sipe is looking deep. He can't find anything, and he has to dump it off to Pruitt, you know, 12 yards short of a first down. Offensive coordinator, he's usually up in the box, but he's come down for halftime. See the tall guy there? He's the coach for me. Great coach, great guy.
So Steve Cox will be punting from the Cleveland 15-yard line. Reggie Smith is back on the Atlanta 28. And Cox hangs it but short. Reggie Smith coming up at the 36-yard line. And he fumbled. And Cleveland, I believe, recovered. And there's the man who came up with it, Johnson. And that's Eddie Johnson out of Louisville. Watch the fumble.
This has been a big thing today, the turnovers on special teams. See, just switched hands. The ball went right out the backside. Reggie Smith can't find it. Cleveland did find it. And now this game can be turned around. This half can be turned around right here.
There's Eddie Johnson who recovered. And the guy who hit him as he was switching hands was Willis Adams. Adams was a first-round draft pick 2 years ago. And now he gets his name in this story.
And Cleveland has plenty of time, man. This is plenty of time.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 27-yard line. 10-7 Atlanta. That's Reggie Rucker in motion to the left. Second man is Charles White. And down he goes. It looked like he tripped more than anything else. Al Richardson was there to stack it up a little bit.
I'll tell you what, the toughest thing to do against a 3-man line, and more specifically Atlanta, is to sweep. You cannot sweep because they pursue, they build a wall along that line of scrimmage better than anyone. Look at all those red jerseys. If you're going to run, you're better with your fullback, Adam, and inside.
2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 27. Both backs release. Sight over the middle to Greg Pruitt, and Greg Pruitt is hit at about the 24-yard line.
Brian Sipe is taking time out. I think, you know, again, he's wasted 2 plays there. I think you have to get the ball upfield. You know, if you're going to pass it, pass the doggone thing. And again, Atlanta's doing a good job of defense, but to run a sweep and then have to hit the fullback for 3 or 4 yards is tough.
When you look at the Atlanta defense with that 3-man front, they don't change very often, do they, John?
Well, you know, I think they're the only team in the NFL that doesn't change. You know, every other 3-man line on passing downs either goes to a 4-man line or a nickel defense, a 5 defensive backs. But Atlanta doesn't. They play the same 11 guys all the time.
And they're playing short.
Well, they're playing short. Of course, they're playing without Joel Williams, who is outstanding. They'll really miss him. because he was their leading sacker last year.
Those are the games coming up later today. The Giants in Dallas, or New Orleans, San Francisco, St. Louis, Tampa Bay. Most of you folks watching this game will see that Giants-Dallas game, so it's a big day of football right here on CBS. Dave Jacobs, the field goal specialist for Cleveland, if you're thinking about him, he is 3 for 8 and 1 for 3 inside the 39-yard line.
He doesn't look very strong.
He's only 5'7".
Little guy.
3rd and 6 on the 23. And Sipe going for Wilson Newsom. Ozzie Newsom for the touchdown.
That's the one that he needed, Ben. He had to get the ball up the field or into the end zone, and he picked the right guy. Ozzie Newsom lined up as a tight end, and he just ran right through the Atlanta defense. Good pass protection. That's where it all starts. Now watch here. We see Sipe coming back. Newsom is on our left side here of the screen. He runs right up between the Atlanta zone defense.
Well, here in Cleveland, they call him the Wizard of Oz, and he has just put a little wizardry on display. 13-10 Cleveland, capitalizing on the fumble by Reggie Smith. The spot and the kick, it is good. With 49 seconds left in the half, it is 14-10 Cleveland. Take another look.
You see, now most teams down here go man-to-man. Atlanta's one of the few teams. You see the zone. They aren't playing man-to-man. We see Newsom going right through the zone, and he's hit over the linebackers, and he's hit between the safeties. Now what? See, the linebacker rides him out there, goes into a zone. Newsom right between the safeties for the touchdown. That was a great call.
So we have 49 seconds to the half. For an update, let's go to Brent in New York. 14-10 Cleveland with 49 seconds left in the half. A Cleveland fumble by Montgomery led to a Falcon field goal, but a Falcon fumble by Reggie Smith led to a Cleveland touchdown, and that's really the difference. And the kickoff is going to be to Reggie Smith in the end zone, and he doesn't have anywhere to go with that one.
This crowd is fired up here, and they're waving orange things. Look at that. Look, some guy standing up there. He looks like he could play. He looks like a special teams guy. Covers kickoffs, that guy. Covered a few too many. Didn't wear a helmet when he covered.
No helmet.
Nice guy.
A good kickoff by the punter, Steve Cox. You mind having a punter kicking off, John?
No, that didn't bother me because I had that for years with great guys, because that's not a timing thing. All they have to do is hit it like a sledgehammer.
1st and 10 from the 20 for Atlanta. And it'll be William Andrews trying to get outside, and now turning inside. And it's Andrews out across the 40-yard line, picking up 20 yards with 40 seconds left to the half.
Now Atlanta will take a timeout. They were probably trying to run the clock out, Ben. They thought, geez, we'll go in with this score and we'll do it now. But Andrews breaks loose here. As we see it, he gets to the outside. Now watch, right when he sees a little hole and turns that ball, can he explode up through there? Look, now, Jackson may have trouble with those hands. You see that? He couldn't really wrap them around him.
Yeah, Clarence Scott had to come over and help him out a little bit. William Andrews with that neck brace sitting high up on his shoulders. How's Andrews been doing? 12 carries for 69 yards. This is Vin Scully along with John Madden here in Cleveland. 14-10 in favor of the Browns. And the Falcons, who led early, now find themselves behind, but they have Bartkowski at the wheel, and his numbers have been productive. Andrews staying in, and the pass is deep down the middle, no good. Alfred Jenkins made the catch and then lost it. And the Browns have Clay Matthews run it out of bounds. But Jenkins took a lick, couldn't hold it.
I don't know if he didn't hold it, then Cleveland's ball. I think they're ruling then that he did hold it and fumbled the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, they're giving it to Cleveland. Cleveland's going to have another shot here. Let's watch it again. Now he comes and it's going to be an in. That draws a crowd because it's a zone defense here again by Cleveland. Watch Bartkowski. Now again, the rule here is he has to have control of that when he comes down. That was wrong. That was another bad call. They put in a new rule. Control means when he catches the ball and his feet have to hit the ground and him having the ball. They weren't.
No, they weren't. And Brian Sipe over the middle to Logan. And Logan goes down at the 30-yard line. So a good catch by Dave Logan.
Sipe calls timeout. They're going to get another shot at this one, Ben.
21 seconds to the half. Take another look at that pass to Dave Logan.
I'll tell you, Sipe gets rushed. He just gets rid of that ball before he gets smashed. Logan is falling down, but it's enough for the first down. All they need is just about 5 or 6 more yards, and they'll have a sure shot at a field goal. So now they could probably go for the end zone.
Don't forget at halftime, Brent Musburger and Herb Cross with scores and highlights of other games, and Jack Whitaker's legends, that great backfield in San Francisco. And there's that great linebacker with 2 sprained hands, Robert L. Jackson.
He has sprained hands, but he could still put up that finger to word number 1, couldn't he?
We have 21 seconds to the half. 14-10 in favor of Cleveland. And Atlanta very much with their backs to the wall, time running out in the half, and Brian Sipe trying to capitalize. Let's say it was a questionable call at best on Alfred Jenkins.
Well, it wasn't even questionable in my mind because the ball was out before any foot hit the ground. And that shouldn't happen. I mean, that's 2 times, and in all due respect, they do a good job, but they'd have missed 2.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 31. Sipe deep down the right side to Rucker, broken up. Bobby Butler, and there's going to be interference against Bobby Butler. Reggie Rucker was the intended receiver, and you'll see the rookie, Bobby Butler, out of Florida State, interfere.
Butler's going crazy down there. He's saying that he didn't do it. Rucker has him right there. Look at this reaction. I'll tell you, you talk about how a turnaround, a turnover can make a turnaround. We're seeing it here in this first half.
So it is 1st and goal on the 1 with 14 seconds to the half. Cleveland getting a couple of big breaks. Mike Pruitt and Charles White are the running back. In motion is Adams on a roll with flags. Pruitt in the end zone, but there are flags on the field, and it'll be apparently a touchdown penalty against Atlanta.
That was Sipe in the end zone, Ben. He faked that. That was a fake trap, and it was a bootleg by the quarterback. Atlanta had their whole defense.
Offside, defense, decline.
That was a great fake by Sipe. He faked into the line, and he just kept the ball in the old bootleg play. Atlanta all goes in, and Sipe went out to the outside. Now, watch it again, a little motion. He fakes to the back and does a good job of diving. The whole Atlanta defense reacts into it. Sipe walks into the end zone. Cooley throws the ball.
Oh, it is 20-10 Cleveland. Jacobs now trying to make it 21 out of a hold by Dave Logan. It's up and good. With 10 seconds left in the half, Cleveland leading 21-10. The Falcons opened up with a field goal to take a lead, but the Browns have really come roaring back.
Well, we felt when this game started that it was going to be an offensive game, and there's going to be a lot of scoring. Before it's over, I'm sure we're going to see a lot more. This is exciting. I like this kind of game. The crowd's cheering. Everyone's excited. Art Modell's right here. He's excited. Paul Warfield's here. He's excited. We're excited. A lot of scoring, touchdowns, penalties, bad calls, everything that goes in a football game.
Bad calls.
Bad call. You always have to have a few of those.
Wouldn't
be a football game without a couple.
So Cleveland suddenly sitting on top of the world right now, and Reggie Smith, remember it was Reggie Smith who recovered the punt and then fumbled the ball while in the act of running. He was hit by Willis Adams. It was recovered by Eddie Johnson, and that led to a touchdown. And there's Brian Sipe, who has piloted Cleveland to this 21-10 lead.
I like Brian Sipe. He's cool, isn't he? He really is. I always liked the cool quarterback because I was the other way, and that kind of brought the thing down to a middle.
Yeah,
Stabler was cool.
I can imagine a Tom Stabler listening to you.
Inflappable listening to a flappable.
And it's a knuckleball, and it'll go down to about the 30-yard line. Bobble there for the moment, and James Mayberry brings it out across the 35-yard line before he's swallowed up by white jerseys. And we have 6 seconds to the half for Atlanta, and I would certainly imagine this is not the time for them to do too much.
Now, I think that they'll just run one play and be happy to go in the locker room and get away from this crowd and the Cleveland Browns for about 15 minutes.
So a downcast Lehman Bennett with Cleveland leading 21-10. 6 seconds left in the half. Here's William Andrews, and he's not going to go anywhere but down at the 40-yard line. And of course for Atlanta, they're still trying to recover on the ruling on the pass that they know Alfred Jenkins never caught.
I'm not sure if they knew it on the sideline, but we can sure see it from here. And, you know, really, well, in fact, Lehman Bennett is out there in the 40-yard line. He was out there arguing with the official. But, you know, that was the thing, is they put a new rule in this year that when a receiver catches the ball, that it's not possession until he has it and both feet hit the ground with the ball. And neither foot hit the ground, so it wasn't possession.
No, they missed by 2.
Yeah, they missed by 2. I mean, had 1 foot, you'd say, well, he's half right. 2 feet, he's all wrong.
Well, Cleveland thinks it's all right. It's halftime here with Cleveland capitalizing on that big break and leading Atlanta 21-10. Everybody, Vin Scully along with John Madden welcoming you back to Cleveland, where the Browns are leading 21-10, coming up with a remarkable good fortune right near the end of the first half. There are the numbers. Anything particular jump out to you?
Well, I think the big thing are really the turnovers, because when Atlanta had some turnovers and one was a penalty, Cleveland really took advantage of them. But you know, with these two teams, 21-10 isn't a big lead. I think we're going to see a lot more scoring.
Luckhurst kicking to Cleotha Montgomery, who had his share of problems in the first half. And Montgomery to the 20, and he is hit and dropped at about the 24-yard line. The first man to hit him was Lyman White, the rookie, who came down to lower the boom. But Montgomery with good hands that time after the jitters or whatever 3 times in the first quarter.
I think in the first quarter, you know, he just misjudged the ball a couple times.
That's looking at the 2 quarterbacks. 2 touchdowns for Seib, 1 for Bartkowski. They've each had an interception, but of course it's almost 2-1 as far as passes and yardage are concerned.
Offside, number 23 on the kicking team. Re-kick.
That's Bobby Butler, and of course he was quite well known in the closing seconds when they had pass interference on him as he was defending in the end zone. And that led to the 1st and goal on the 1 and Brian Sipe running it in.
He's probably getting a little paranoid about now. You know, he said right at the end of the half they called him for a pass interference, and now they call him for offsides in the opening kickoff. Look at that average on 1st down. Atlanta's 9.8, Cleveland 5.6. Anything over 5 is outstanding. So they're both doing a good job there.
So Cleotha Montgomery, who is the younger brother of Wilbert Montgomery of the Eagles. Cleotha's 25 years old. He went to Abilene Christian. So from the 30-yard line, Luckhurst will kick, and Montgomery will take it from the 3 to the 10, to the 20, 25, forward to about the 28. So he picked up the 5 yards. That's really the difference on the 2 run backs, and they'll put it in play. 1st and 10 will Cleveland, leading 21-10. And for Atlanta, they have to regroup and shake themselves from any ill effects of the closing minutes of the first half.
And they'll do it. I think, you know, one thing about Atlanta, as we know, they can score an awful lot of points in a short time. We remember that game with Green Bay a few weeks ago. They were down 17-0, and in the 4th quarter, they scored 31 points.
1st and 10 on the Cleveland 29. Rucker is inside Logan in a slot left. White and Mike Pruitt on the running back. Rucker in motion. Try Mike Pruitt. And Mike Pruitt got to about the 30-yard line. So he might have picked up 1 yard at best.
Look at all those red jerseys on there. I think that these guys play the run as well as anyone. You see the nose tackle Smith in there. He's taking on 2 or 3. He runs right into Pruitt. Now watch a convergence. They're still converging. There goes Kuykendall after it's all over. They got guys flying through the air.
So it is 2nd and 9 on the Cleveland 30-yard line. Dave Logan and Reggie Rucker go right. Ozzie Newsom, a split end on the left side. Pruitt to Newsom, and Newsom trying to get the first down, but he's about 2 yards short.
Look at Sipe. You know, you talk about people that are unflappable. There is an unflappable man. Is that the word, unflappable?
Good word.
Well, that's your word. I just learned mayonnaise and delicatessen the other day, but I like unflappable. But, I mean, he's truly unflappable. There's nothing that can flap him.
You don't usually see flappable quarterbacks anyway.
Well, there's some, you know, Jaworski's kind of flappable. There's a few. Van Brockman was a flappable one.
2 on the 37 for Cleveland. In motion is Adams. That is Charles White running into a pile. And there's a flag on the play, so let's see.
Looks like it's something against Atlanta, the way they reacted, because they're upset about it. And penalty, of course, unnecessary roughness. That'll be a 15-yarder.
So White, who is going to the first down, will get quite a dividend, and Jerry Markbright will move it across into Atlanta territory and finally spot it almost the Atlanta 46-yard line.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 27, defense.
That's Tom Pridemore,
First down.
who appeared shocked at the call.
Right, he looks shocked. It must be a late hit. You see, White gets in there, the ball's down, and I guess Pridemore was the one that came in, and it looked like he speared, you know, or they thought that he speared. You can't spear when a runner's down with your helmet.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 46. Sipe setting up shot. Goes down the middle to Reggie Rucker. No good. Rucker trying to make the catch at the Atlanta 25.
Tell you, and Sipe ended up where it's not any fun.
Pittsburgh has already scored twice on runs by Harris, once on a touchdown pass by Bradshaw. Meanwhile, Green Bay leading Minnesota 10-3 in the 2nd quarter. And Miami leading Baltimore.
That was a flash. They didn't leave that one up there to stay long, did it? I think someone like Baltimore, no.
2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 46. Ricky Feature is wide right. Logan left. And they give to Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt, with a great second effort, burst forward across the 45. Boy, as we mentioned at the very start of the game, he is really tough to bring down.
Look at those legs as he walks back to the huddle. You know, that's where a person's power comes. See, from his waist on down, you know, that's what you have to tackle. And when those are big, see, you can still see them there in the huddle. But when those are big, you know, they're tough to tackle. There's Kuykendall. He's practicing defense. He's practicing hitting guys, and he's on the sideline. He must have hurt something.
3rd and 6 on the Atlanta 42-yard line. And Sipe completing, and a hard hit by Kenny Dodson, who was still able to hold on to the ball as Greg Pruitt came out of the backfield to handle it. You know, Pruitt caught 50 passes last year. He's got those great hands.
And Sam Ritigliano says that this year he may catch 80 passes. And with a quarterback like Brian Sipe, when he doesn't need a whole lot of area there, you just give him a little hole and he can get it in there.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 32-yard line. Mike Pruitt and Charles White are the running backs. And they'll go to Charles White. White getting across the 25-yard line.
You know, one thing, Sipe looks like he's having a little trouble handing off here. You know, I wonder if something's bothering his hand. Watch White, the ball was out in front a little, but again, when you know, Charles White, a lot of people said he was too small, but I'll tell you, when he gets straightened up field, he's as good as most of them.
So it is 2nd down and 3 on the Atlanta 25-yard line. Remember, they started on the Cleveland 29. Mike Pruitt. And Tom Pridemore finally brought him down inside the
have to do against Atlanta, the three-man line, is run straight at it and cut back. Find a hole and cut back. And it helps if you have a big fullback like Pruitt. That helps. Otherwise, it's academic.
Pruitt right now has carried 10 times for 43 very tough yards. It is 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 14-yard line. Rucker is right, Logan is left, and Newsom is on the right side. They'll go to White. Charles White stacked up at about the 11-yard line. The first man to hit him was Buddy Curry.
Butler, don't do that.
And Butler was bad. The reason, I think, is he thought that Charles White had stepped on Curry after the tackle, trying to get up.
Bobby Butler's, he has a lot of emotion. We talk about emotional people.
Watch White step on Curry now, right there.
Yeah.
That's what ticked him off.
He didn't. Butler says, you can't step on my guy.
Step on my man.
Look, Curry's saying, yeah, he did it.
2nd and 8 on the Atlanta 12. 21-10 Cleveland, and they're driving. Reggie Rucker in motion. Mike Pruitt getting outside. Boy, he got explosive once he got outside that left. We talk about a runaway truck.
I tell you, he was, earlier, he'd been running inside with power. And on that one, we see Mike Pruitt. He does it with speed this time, Ben. Look, he just outruns the Atlanta defense. But he had a good block there by Charles White. Now it's just a race to the corner. They just one step before he got to the goal line.
So it is 1st and goal on the Atlanta 1.
But Charles White made the block that sprung Mike Pruitt.
Oden and Adams are in there now. In motion is Adams. Mike Pruitt is hit, and he broke the plane of the goal line. Butler says no, but it's called a touchdown.
Look at the fans. Look at Mike Pruitt. He's having a good day's work. I'll tell you, that was a great drive. They took, to come out in the second half, you want to establish or reestablish. Cleveland got the kickoff. They took the ball down, and of course we're going to see it end right here. Watch Pruitt again. Good goal line. Good penetration. The offensive line stayed low, did a good job, and that's all a fullback like Mike Pruitt needs.
Dave Jacobs out of a hole by Logan, and it is good. Driving over from the 1, and Cleveland on top of the world early in the 3rd quarter. Somewhat shocked and disheartened Atlanta Falcon Ball Club will have to shake itself to come back now, and a rather happy, although you couldn't tell it, Art Modell, owner of the Browns, looking on. There are the numbers as Mike Pruitt brought it over, and now the kickoff, and little Reggie Smith has decided to try and lift the team himself. And he'll lose 2 or 3 yards on the gamble, and look at that. That's Ray Strong. And a couple of the Browns wanted to find out how strong he was.
That's right. I tell you, emotions are sure running high in this game, but that's
I think that's why Reggie brought it out of the end zone.
Right. He said that we have to make something happen here. Really, I don't know if Atlanta has recovered from what happened to him just before the halftime. And then Cleveland didn't help him out by coming back with that drive that we just saw.
That's coming up next, and most of you will see the Giants in Dallas. 1st and 10 on the 18-yard line, so Reggie Smith gambled out of the end zone and really only lost 2 yards by it. Bartkowski to the right side. The reception is made. What a hit by Ron Bolden, but Alfred Jenkins held on to it. Ron Bolden turned him every which way.
There is an amazing man, Alfred Jenkins. They say that in the program, 172, he weighs less than 155. How did he hold on to that thing?
He was hit first underneath and then buried on top. And yet that's the man they claimed fumbled a pass in midfield near the end of the first half.
No way.
Bartkowski over the middle, and he's got Lynn Kane, but so is Dick Ambrose. And Ambrose stops him at the 40-yard line. Bartkowski's 8th completion.
We had that shot of Art Modell over here on the side, and he didn't look very happy because he knows that they're playing against Atlanta and Steve Bartkowski, and this is a team that can score a lot of points in a short time.
So it is 2nd and 3 on the Atlanta 40-yard line. They started on their own 18, and Lehman Bennett wants to see them move it. William Andrews. Andrews trying for the first down, and from this angle, it would not appear as if he made it.
I don't think that he had it. No, you know, Cleveland is doing a good job of adjusting. They're not letting Andrews get that bounce out. You see, he starts inside, and he wants to get outside, and there's no way that Clay Matthews is going to let him to the outside.
Dave Scott trying to lead the way for him and throw the block, but Matthews turned it in, and they're going to spot the ball, and it'll be 3rd and about 1.
You know, last time they had a short yardage, they gave it to Lynn Kane, and they didn't get Jackson blocked. I would bet that Andrews gets the ball on this one.
All right, 3rd and 1 on the 42, and of course Atlanta needs this desperately now to raise their spirits.
Kane's going to get it again.
That's Mayberry in motion, and it's Kane, flag on the play. Kane evidently made the first down, I think, but there are flags on the play. And of course that's the toughest thing in football, trying to figure out where the ball really is.
Where the ball is going to be spotted, and usually in short
defense.
I was just going to say, usually in short yardage you have someone line up off sides, and that's what encroachment is. Cleveland lined up over the ball.
So Jerry Markwright, who is the referee, will march off the 5, and of course that'll give Atlanta what it needed, the first down, with 7:19 in the 3rd
Encroachment,
quarter.
number 90. Encroachment, number 90. Defense, first down.
That's tough to get your name twice.
Right. He had to say it twice. Encroachment 90, encroachment 90. There's Balmoina getting rested for the next time. They've been working that side, you know, where they're missing Joel Williams.
1st and 10 from the Atlanta 47, and that one's out of the ballpark. Intended for Wallace Francis. Francis has not had a ball today except for a 3-yard catch. He's been a pretty quiet receiver. Jenkins has caught 4, Miller 1, and then coming out of the backfield, Lynn Kane has handled 2.
You know, it's been a long time since Atlanta really had the ball. At the end of the half there, it seemed to be all Cleveland. Cleveland got it starting this half, and Atlanta's just getting warmed up again.
And that's the feature of Cleveland. They lead the NFL in ball control. So it is 2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 47. Jenkins goes right. Francis goes left. Both backs release. And the pass to Kane, in and out of his hands. He wanted to take it and run, but he didn't take it.
He sure did. And that's one of those things that, you know, he knew that he was wide open, and he knew there was 3rd down, and he knew that he was about 3 yards short of a first down, and that he had to get that, and he started to get it before he caught the ball. Now, this is a big down, because on 3rd down, they have to get a first here.
Steve Bartkowski got a pretty good chop from Marshall Harris on that last play, but he's okay. 3rd and 10 on the Atlanta 47. Bartkowski looking left. Broken up at the last minute by Flint. The pass was intended for Francis.
That's Judson Flint. He's the 5th defensive back. He's the guy that comes in on the passing downs when the Browns go to the 5th defensive back. He was right there and got his hand in and knocked the ball out.
Looked like Bartkowski was a little short. Had he led him a little more, Francis had a step on Flint.
I think that he took too much off that ball. You know, he just tried to lay it out there instead of putting a little more zip on it.
Cleotha Montgomery, who has been exciting to say the least, handling punts, is back for Cleveland. John James will be kicking from the Atlanta 35. Montgomery coming up to the 15, up to the 18. Atlanta downs the ball inside the 20-yard line.
I don't know if that ball hit a Cleveland receiver. Of course, the rule is that one, you have to give the return man room to catch the ball, and if you don't, then if it hits one of them, it could be Atlanta's ball.
11 seconds left in the third quarter. Atlanta will put it in play, 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 26, and you're listening to the offensive line for Cleveland getting a little respite, and Atlanta trying to go. Bartkowski, the right side, off the hands of 2 men, flag on the play. Junior Miller had it go out of his hands, and then Jackson had it go out of his hand.
And that's going to be against Cleveland, and that'll be a first down right there. It's going to be pass interference. I guess they said that he hit him before the ball got there. This will be an interesting one. It's good convergence. It looked like good coverage. And he's saying that he hit him, that Bolton hit him before the ball. I'm sorry.
First down.
I can't talk when that official's talking, say. So I was trying to say what he was saying, but he was saying that Bolton hit him before the ball got there.
And meanwhile, not listening to you or the referee is Doug Deacon, who apparently wears contact lenses and is working on them on the sideline.
Yes, all those things that you said, plus contact lenses.
1st and 10 on the Atlanta 45. Bartkowski to Andrews. And he's at midfield and picked up yet an extra yard. Judson Flint hit him, but Flint couldn't bring him down.
You know what we're seeing in this game, Vin, is we're seeing the, great reaction on defense. You don't see this week in and week out in football, but it seems like anytime anyone, receiver or runner, has the ball, there's great convergence. There's always 4, 5, 6, 7 guys making a tackle.
A lot of hustle out there as it is 2nd and 4. The ball on the Cleveland 49-yard line. 4:29 left in the third. Jackson and Francis come left. The backs release, and Bartkowski's going to go deep. Intended for Jackson, no good. Hand for Dixon, right there, stride for stride. Alfred Jackson, number 85 for Atlanta. He went to the University of Texas. He was a roommate of Earl Campbell, and he did not drop a ball in 1980. If he gets his hands on it, he's going to hold on to it.
His receiver coach, Jimmy Ray, was saying an interesting thing. He said he runs with speed, and when he does, his eyes don't bounce. And there's a lot to that. I remember when I had Cliff Branch, that was the toughest thing. He would run fast, and when he'd run fast, his eyes would bounce up and down, and he couldn't adjust to catch the ball.
I don't see how you could train a man then.
He just runs fast and keeps his head still.
Big 3rd down play. 3rd and 4 on the 49. In and out, just by the fingertips of Jackson. So Bartkowski unable to keep it alive.
That's one that Jackson dropped.
Yeah, well, it was a fingertip. I don't know if that constitutes a drop.
Well, those count. Those count, especially when it's 3rd down and you're down 28 to 10. You have to catch those kinds.
But you wouldn't really call that a drop.
I would.
Would you really, just at the edge of his fingertips?
Yeah, I would. It all depends on whose side you're on.
Okay. John James pointing to Cleotha Montgomery, who knows all about drops. 4th and 4. They're gambling, and they didn't make it. Tony Dakin was lined up as a blocking back and took the direct snap, and Dakin, a linebacker, was trying to go for the first down, and he didn't make it.
But just instead of snapping it to the punter, he just snapped it to the fullback right there. He ran that. Now the Cleveland linebackers did an outstanding job. They keyed the fullback. You don't turn and go into a return until you know that the punter has it and has kicked it.
And Dick Ambrose and Bruce Huther were very busy in there to stop the gamble for the first down. With Paul Brown, Glenn Collier, Nick Scoritz, Forrest Gregg, and Sam. And he's got his ball club rolling in high gear after the Atlanta gamble missed by 2 yards. 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 47.
Scrapping going down there. You were talking about Sam Retigliano, and the outstanding thing that he has done with this Cleveland team is he has 45 players that all believe that they have a role. You know, and that's a very difficult thing. I think this man has done as good a job as that as anyone in the league. That, you know, that whether a guy's a backup, he's a special team, he's a backup quarterback, a kicker, whatever, he has them all believe that they have a role and they're very important.
2nd and 7 from midfield. In motion is Reggie Rucker. Sight looking to the left, going over the middle to Charles White at the 40-yard line, and White is across the 35. The only man to get him from behind was Jeff Yates. Otherwise, he picks up some more.
And again, when Charles White came out of USC, that a lot of people said that he couldn't play pro ball, that he was too small, he was this and that, but he's proven now that he can do it all. He can catch it, as we see here. We know he can run with it, and we've already seen him make some outstanding blocks today. He's really doing it all.
He might have come of age in that Cincinnati game. At least that's the way they taught. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 34. Mike Pruitt. And he's inside the 30-yard line and still driving. They steal the ball from him. However, it's after the whistle. Al Richardson stole the ball, but it's not going to count. And Richardson, angry, just drops the ball on the 25-yard line and walks away from it like it was yesterday's paper.
You know, we're really seeing two great National Football League fullbacks here today. You know, when Atlanta has the ball, we can get all excited about William Andrews, and then we see Mike Pruitt do the same thing when Cleveland gets the ball. Does Sam have a little smile there, or is that just kind of squint? Come on, Sam, smile, smile.
Not yet. It's 2:13 left in the 3rd quarter. 20. Who can block, who can run, and who can catch the ball. And I guess that game against Cincinnati really is the turning point in Charles White's young career.
That's the thing, and you know, they say that Charles White, you know, got married now and has settled down here in the Cleveland area and has really devoted himself to football and the Cleveland Browns.
And maybe he got a lift when SC beat Oklahoma yesterday. It got all the Trojans happy.
That may have got him excited the night before the game, and it carried over into the game.
1:25 left. That's Adams in motion, and Mike Pruitt is in motion, and he's belted at the 25-yard line. Now that's close for a 1st down.
I'll tell you, you know, coaches use the words intensity a lot, and I'm not always sure what it is or what it means, but this is it right here. Watch this. The blockers, the defense, guys coming in, short yardage, 4th down. Cleveland's going for it. The fans love it.
And there are 78,283 fans here to love it.
That's a crowd, huh? People like crowds, I think. You ever notice that? There's always a lot of people.
4th and 1 on the 25. White and Mike Pruitt. In motion is Features. They go to Mike Pruitt. He's got the 1st down.
You know, the most excited person on that play was Brian Sight. That's the first clappability that I've seen out of him all day. When Pruitt got that ball and got the 1st down, Sight jumped up and down like a cheerleader.
You know,
look, he's excited now.
Mike Pruitt is incredible. You realize with all of his other abilities, he broke Max Speedy's record for catches. He had 63 catches last year. Add that to his rushing. He personally accounted for over 1,500 yards last year.
That's a year's work.
Wow. 1st and 10 on the 24. Charles White bumping into Sight and on his own and fighting on his own before 3 bring him down. And we have run out of 3rd.
That's the hardest hit Sight has had in a long time. He said, go ahead, Charles, take it to the outside. Boom.
The only time Sight has been hit today is when he threw the interception. Goal for the Atlanta Falcons to get back in this ball game, but they are that kind of a club. They scored 65 points within 43.5 minutes, starting in the 4th quarter against Green Bay and extending into the 2nd half against San Francisco. But the difference is that they're not playing Green Bay or San Francisco. They're playing one of the better AFC teams, the Cleveland Browns.
I was just going to say, in all due respect, they're playing Cleveland.
Yeah, and how?
At Cleveland.
2nd and 10 on the Atlanta 24-yard line. Sight juggled and dropped in a cloud of dust. Coming across from the right side, Reggie Rucker, but he couldn't quite hold it.
I'm sure that Feature's going to go back to the huddle, and every time he comes in, he always tells Sipe, let's go up top. He wants to go deep. He wants to go into the end zone. Here he's running in the end, just bobbles it, didn't have control. He should have caught that one,
that
too.
Was a drop. He had his hands on that one for sure.
That wasn't like the other one, though. You still won't give in on that,
no, the other one was a diving attempt off the fingertips. 3rd and 10 on the Atlanta 24. Newsom is left. Rucker and Logan go right. And Sipe is going to the air. And this time it's Gregg Pruitt. And Pruitt is down to about the 16-yard line. Looks like that catch was made on the African plains.
You know, that's great. You miss this in the artificial turf fields. I don't like that. You know, where no one gets dirty. There's no grass. There's no dirt. They just play it. They all have clean uniforms. I like that when they get flappable and, you know, and dust and dirt and they're dirty and chewing tobacco and stuff.
So Dave Jacobs will try and kick the field goal. Dave Logan will spot it at the 23-yard line. So it's a 33-yard field goal attempt by the little guy out of Syracuse. He gets it up, and it is no good. The field goal, and we'll be back with more of the Atlanta-Cleveland game after this word from your local station. Atlanta 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Play action fake by Bartkowski, and he's going for a big bite. Alfred Jenkins. And Jenkins makes the reception at the 25-yard line, taking it away from Hanford Dixon.
I'll tell you, he can really get it. Jenkins is amazing. He's waving to the sideline. No, don't bring anyone in for me. I can still play. And it's just a streak. He's on Hanford Dixon. Dixon was in pretty good position. He had good coverage. See, Darden should have been back there. The guy that he beat was not Dixon. It was Darden. Darden's a free safety, number 27. He should have been in the middle, but he got behind Darden. Dixon was in good position.
So it's 1st and 10 on the Cleveland 24-yard line after that big bite by Bartkowski. Andrews and Kane. Play action fake, and again Bartkowski in the end zone, and Miller can't hold it. And Bartkowski, taking a severe wallop, is down at the 35. Robert L. Jackson came through to deck Bartkowski, and of course Steve is wearing a flight jacket or a flak jacket, and he's got bad ribs anyway, and boy, that hurt.
And you can tell that he probably got caught right there in that same injury because he's not getting up.
So Bartkowski is down with 13 minutes left, and it's 28-10 in favor of Cleveland. Bartkowski hurting, but not as much as Junior Miller, who should have caught the pass for a touchdown. And here's Robert L. Jackson, who has 2 sprained hands. Watch him.
Jackson lined up in a 3-point stance over the guard. They faked to Andrews. Jackson comes right up the middle as Bartkowski throws it. That was a great throw under duress. Junior Miller should have had that for a touchdown.
2nd and 10 on the Cleveland 24. June Jones giving to Andrews. Andrews is 15 to the 10 to the 5, and down he goes. 1st down. William Andrews.
You talk about a guy that plays every down, that plays 60 minutes the whole game. William Andrews comes out of the locker room playing like that, and he plays all the way. Bartkowski's coming back in now.
So it is 1st and goal on the 5-yard line, and for William Andrews, he has now carried for 94 yards.
And watch, watch the strength in his legs as he twists and turns, and people fall off there, and he gets going up the field. He knows where the goal line is.
So it is first and goal from the 5. Andrews and Kane behind Bartkowski. Bartkowski in the end zone, no good. Wallace Francis is out there. Now that'll make it second and goal from the 5. 12:21 left, and it's 28-10 Cleveland. Atlanta scored and led 3-0 in the first quarter, but the second quarter, Cleveland scored 21 points. Next week, Green Bay and the Giants, Dallas, St. Louis, San Francisco, Washington, and Detroit at Tampa Bay. Second and goal from the 5. Kane and Andrews behind Bartkowski. Play action fake to Kane. All alone is Alfred Jenkins for the touchdown. His second of the day.
You talk about cool and unflappable. Jenkins ran and in. He was at the back line or the baseline, and he just stood right underneath the goalpost. And I don't think the pass was supposed to go to him. Now what? It's a play pass. He's looking inside for someone else. He sees Jenkins standing right there, and he just stands here, and he hands off the ball to the Cleveland defender.
Clarence Scott came over, and Albert said, here, if you want it, take it now. It's been used.
He said, yeah, I don't spike or do anything like that. I'll just let you have it.
What a player at 155 pounds. Remarkable.
He's really a nice guy, too. I saw him in the hotel this morning.
The point is good, though it is Cleveland 28, Atlanta 17, and there's still 12 minutes and 16 seconds left in the ball game. John, let's see that touchdown again.
And we'll see Bartkowski here. He fakes. It's a play pass. He's looking to the left. That's his primary receiver. He doesn't see him. Jenkins is standing underneath the goalpost. He's the secondary or thirdary or fourthary receiver. Gets a touchdown.
Well, it is 28-17 Cleveland. And the Falcons kicking to Cleotha Montgomery, and he's not about to run it out that deep in the end zone. Say, friends, tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes. And then on Archie Bunker's Place, Archie's on his best behavior. And on Trapper John M.D., Gonzo discovers a new side of town. That's all tonight on CBS.
You know, we always talk about primary receivers and secondary receivers. What was the third?
Tertiary.
Oh, now that is a big word. That's bigger than delicatessen.
Yeah, I'm going to leave on that. First and 10 on the 20-yard line. 28-17 Cleveland. Brian Sipe now trying to hold on to the ball for a while, and Cleveland does that best in the league. Both backs release. And Sipe throwing to Mike Pruitt, OB. Bob Glazer there defending.
That's what Brian Sipe was saying. You know, again, that was a second or third receiver there. He looked to the left, he looked to the middle, and he finally threw it away to the right.
Philadelphia, and remember, they opened up the year without Leroy Harris. Wilbert Montgomery got banged up, and they tell us today that Perry Harrington broke his leg, but they're still leading Washington 14-6. Buffalo leading Cincinnati 21-10 in the fourth, and the Jets leading Houston 26-17. Second and 10 on the Cleveland 20-yard line. And it's a draw to Mike Pruitt to the 25, 30. Still kicking, and Kenny Johnson finally dropped him at about the 38, or he's gone.
You know, as I said, I think that the draw play originated here in Cleveland. Of course, we remember Jimmy Brown running with all the great Browns, but here's a guy who runs. He runs like a galloping horse. You see that, the way his legs were going up and down? Like a runaway horse, a freight train.
And then add to that, he catches passes. Played last week with a bad hamstring. He's something.
And he said he wants to work on his blocking this year.
First and 10 on the Cleveland 38, and the reception is made. It was the tight end coming over. That would be Ozzie Newsome, and Kuykendall brought him down. Sipe now has completed 20 of 32.
And now again, you know, with the lead, the 28-17, and the thing that they want to do, that Cleveland wants to do, and Brian Sipe is doing here, is you want to keep getting first downs, keep control of the ball, but also take maximum time.
Second and 5 on the Cleveland 43. Second man, Cleo Miller. And Miller picked up a couple of yards because Jim Laughlin was moved out of there by Doug Deacon. So Deacon, as you named him, the best offensive lineman, made a key block there for a few yards.
Hey, you see Deacon get up there, and all those linemen, you know, they have the sweat in there and the dirt. They've been doing a job. They've been working out here today. You know, the pass protection for Sipe, the run blocking that we're going to see here. Look, they all turn out. You see who was leading in there? Charles White was in there. Good movement.
Oh, we have 10 minutes and 3 seconds left in the game. 28-17 Cleveland. 3rd and 2 from the 46, and Mike Pruitt is on the run. Flags on the play.
That's one of those things they call encroachment. Again, it would be a free play for Cleveland because they're going to get a first down either way.
Well, it was 3rd and 2. Mike Pruitt on the carry, and Cleveland starting on its own 20-yard line, trying to really make a dent in the clock now. 9:54 left in the game as Brian Sipe talks to Jerry Markbright.
It looked like Jeff Yates moved over there, the left end. It looked like he moved before the ball was snapped and got in that zone that you can't before the ball snapped.
Offside, number 79, defense, first down.
Well, sometimes they call it offsides and sometimes they call it encroachment. Neutral zones and all that. I like those words. See, they can dazzle you with words. You don't know what's right.
John Riggins makes Washington a little close as he comes over from 3 yards out. Buffalo holding on, leading Cincinnati 21-17 in the 4th. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 49-yard line. Collin going left is Dave Logan. And going up the middle is Mike Pruitt, and he's to about the 45. Big bite of 4 more yards.
Now look at how slow Cleveland will get up. Brian Sipe's taking his time. He's a master at this. He gave the ball to Pruitt, and the first thing he did is he looked back at the clock and saw that he's talking about 9 minutes, 33 seconds. And it's early for that, but you can start doing that now.
Mike has rushed now for 83 yards. William Andrews has rushed for 94. That's the personal battle within the battle. 2nd and 6 on the Atlanta 45. Ricky Feature in motion to the right. Both backs release. A hurry pass to Greg Pruitt, and Greg Pruitt goes down not before he got across the 35-yard line.
There's a guy, Greg Pruitt, that's a great receiver. I had him in the Pro Bowl years ago, and he was one of the quickest backs that I've ever seen. People said that, he catches so well that he could really be a wide receiver.
How important is Pro Bowl nomination to you? Does that mean a player really is a star?
I think that's the best indicator. When people talk how good, the best players play in the Pro Bowl.
And I think there are 11 former Pro Bowlers in this game today.
And they're all offense.
There's Charles White. And White got to the 30 and maybe a yard beyond that. I think the Browns have 5 Pro Bowlers on their offensive squad, and the Falcons have 1 more.
Right, and that's, to me, is the indicator of how good a team is or where a team is. Now, you see, the one thing that may be a weakness of both of these teams, that all their best players are on offense.
By the way, you're the resident dean as Pro Bowl coach, aren't you?
I coach that thing more than anyone do. You have to remember how you get there. When I coach, you used to get there by losing championship games.
2nd and 6 on the Atlanta 30. Second man, Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt down to about the 25. He has to get to the 24-yard line in order to get the first down. And for Lehman Bennett, it has been a painful journey to Cleveland.
I guess it's painful, but I know one thing that's frustrating. When you're down, the score is 28-17, and you can't get the ball back, that's frustration. See, the gum goes a little quicker, the arms get folded. That's frustration.
Of course, he was thoroughly frustrated last year in that big championship game against Dallas. Atlanta feeling vastly improved since then. 3rd and 3 on the Atlanta 26. Mike Pruitt, and flags on the play as he is dropped at the line of scrimmage.
You know, this has been a very good drive of eating up time. You know, and that's what Cleveland, you know, we're down to 6 minutes 50. Again,
Number 65, defense, first down.
that's a nose tackle.
Don Smith.
Don Smith, how do you line up offsides when you line up over the ball? I could never understand that. You talk about things that frustrate people. That is frustrating. That's what, he has his hands on his hips. He's probably thinking, how can I line up offsides when I'm right in front of the ball?
So it is a first down on the Atlanta 21-yard line. Charles White cutting back. Only grabbing him is Al Richardson at the bottom of the heap. Again, White was cutting back, although I don't know if that was the play or if it was his old SC go to daylight.
I think it was, because he was supposed to follow the right guard, Joe DeLamielleure, who was pulling to the right. Now, there's a guy, DeLamielleure, that is really something. You know, we talk about the Pro Bowl. He's been there. You know, he's a great guard, great football player. I talked to him yesterday, and he had a son out here, 2 years old. He looks just like Joe. And I said, what's he going to be? He said, he doesn't have a chance. He has to be a lineman. I watched him run, and he wobbled. He has to be a lineman.
2nd and 8 on the Atlanta 18. And Sipe looking for a touchdown. Flag on the play. The reception is made by Greg Pruitt. With a flag on the play, the ball is spotted at the 7-yard line. But let's wait for the interpretation.
Well, I'm sure we saw Sipe there, and I'm sure it's against Cleveland, his reaction. He wanted that one because he knew that that would have given him another first down. He could have worked the clock some more and eventually gotten a touchdown, and now he has to go back 10 more yards.
So somebody guilty of holding, trying to buy time for Brian Sipe. It is 28-17 Cleveland, and the second quarter really is the story of the game when the Browns scored 21 points, particularly a clutch touchdown in the last few seconds.
Use of the hands, number 73, offense, a push to the face, second down.
A push in the face, Doug Deacon.
A push to the face. You know, I think even as much as that second quarter, as you say, equally as important when Cleveland came out at halftime and got that ball and drove the length of the field for a touchdown. I think that may have been the thing that put Atlanta away.
Combination of a demoralizing 2 minutes.
And not being able to recover.
2nd and 18 on the 28. Mike Pruitt. And he's inside the 20. Oh, what a horse. What a thoroughbred.
A thoroughbred. Oh, that's a great feeling for a quarterback. And I know that Brian Sipe appreciates that. When you know that if all else fails, if things aren't going, you can always just turn around and give the ball to someone like this guy, and he'll just run it through the way he did. 98 yards.
98 and 19 carries.
And he's coming off a pulled hamstring.
And he's in there with Greg Pruitt. A 3rd down play. 3rd and about 8. Sipe with time, intercepted by Pridemore. Pridemore, who went 101 against San Francisco, going to bump into his own man at the 25-yard line. He bumped into Kenny Johnson, who was trying to block for him. And Pridemore has a string going now. He's made an interception in each of the last 3 games. The Atlanta team record is 4 straight by Kenny Reeves.
Look at this one, and you know where that happened. That's that same interception, the same thing in that playoff game against Oakland. It happened right there.
And 12 seconds left in the ball game. Tom Pridemore making the interception, and as you can see, Cleveland doing what it does so well, holding on to the football, but they just surrendered it to Atlanta. 1st and 10 on the Atlanta 25-yard line. On a draw to William Andrews, and he purchased maybe 4 yards, got it out to the 29.
Thing, Atlanta here can't be thinking in terms of draws anymore because they need 2 scores. So they have to get one quick one, be able to get the ball back and work on another one. So that should be the end of the draws, and we had to start putting the ball up.
And with 4:47 left in the game, they send Jenkins wide right. Francis goes wide left, and he's in the slot now inside Jackson. In and out of Lynn Kane's
Again, I think right now is the time that if I were Steve Bartkowski, that I'd be thinking of Junior Miller and Alfred Jenkins and Wallace Francis, finding those type of people.
And a lot of folks watching our game will be thinking about the Giants and Phil Simms and whether he can exploit what they tell us is a weaker Dallas secondary. That remains to be seen. 3rd and 7 on the Atlanta 29. Again, a slot left. Big rush. No good. Coming back was Junior Miller.
And I'll tell you who caused that one. It was Jerry Shirk. He came around there on a stunt, and we'll see it again. And he made Bartkowski throw the ball where he didn't want to. Now watch, Bartkowski's okay. He's looking downfield. And watch Shirk come in there. See, on a stunt, he didn't touch him. Bartkowski had to move to the side, and he couldn't get any zip on the ball. Jerry Shirk is responsible for that play.
And now 4th and 7 on the 29. John James will be punting. Leotha Montgomery standing on the Cleveland 32, squinting into the sun. End over end punt, and he can't see it, Ken Montgomery. Now he can. And Ray Strong has him by the ankles and dropped him at the 25.
What is that orange thing floating around there?
Sports Saturday next weekend, the champ Arguello against the contender Boom Boom Mancini. That's Sports Saturday next weekend. Jerry Shirk had a staph infection of his left knee that almost cost him his life. He's a photographer, and he thought he was going to quit and take pictures the rest of the way. Then he had his sinus cured, and the medicine somehow or other helped his knee, and here he is playing. A fumble, and Atlanta recovered, I believe. In watching the Falcons, they think they have.
They have, and they're pointing. It's Atlanta's ball. We still have a football game here, because from this point, they can score a quick one and get the ball back.
And the fellow who is in the middle is number 65, Don Smith, who has been fighting a one-man campaign all day and fell on the fumble.
I'll tell you, he's done a great job of playing De Leon there, but it looked like the ball just popped out of his hands and right into Smith's hand.
So 1st and 10 for Atlanta on the Cleveland 25. 4 minutes and 10 seconds left in the game. 28-17 Cleveland. Jenkins wide right. He's got his man. It's Lynn Kane. And Kane is hit at the 20 and driven back. He has to get exactly to the 15-yard line for a first down, and they're going to spot it at the 21, his number.
Again, with 3 minutes and 50 seconds, there's plenty of time for 2 scores here, Ben, because we'll, of course, have the 2-minute timeout. Each team has 3 timeouts left, so time is not of the essence.
2nd and 6 on the Cleveland 21. Jenkins and Francis go left. Junior Miller is wide right. In the end zone, intended for Wallace Francis. No good. Out in front with Judson Flint picking up the rear.
Hey, Cleveland came on a blitz that time, and they made Bartkowski throw the ball a little sooner than he wanted to. This defense, you know, people say that the Cleveland defense isn't what a championship team has to have, but they're sure playing well today. They're doing a lot of fine things.
And they shut down Pete Johnson of Cincinnati. They shut down Earl Campbell of Houston. They weren't able to stop William Andrews. He's rushed for 97 yards.
No one stops William Andrews. They just control him a little.
3rd and 6 on the 21. Bartkowski in and out of Flint's hands. He catches it on the 2nd try. Judson Flint.
Judson Flint says he's going to keep that ball. He's bringing it to the sideline. That was a big, big play. That could be the clincher now. Right here. Now watch Bartkowski. Again, we see Shirk coming to the outside. They still didn't pick up that stunt. Judson, you know, he knocks it up in the mid. The old tip drill, goes and gets it again.
And all Wallace Francis can do is tackle him instead of making the reception. Big play for Mr. Flint. He requires us to leave this game at 3 p.m. Central Time in order to present the New Orleans-San Francisco game and the St. Louis-Tampa Bay game in their entirety. So we'll be switching New Orleans and St. Louis to those games. And, of course, those viewers will be kept up to date on the score of this game as well as all the day's action. And
It's been nice having
7
them.
minutes about left.
It's been nice having those people, though.
Delighted to have them along the way. 3 minutes and 19 seconds. And on a quick couple of turnovers, the Clydemore intercept, then a fumble, then the Flint intercept. Cleveland has the ball 1st and 10 on the Browns' 11-yard line. Charles White out across the 20-yard line. Tom Clydemore brought him down. And White had carried for 47 yards prior to that carry, so he's having a good day.
You know, the inside line on the running game has really done a good job. We're talking about the center, Tom DeLeon. We're talking about Joe DeLamiere, Robert Jackson, because most of the success of the Cleveland running game has come when they've run straight ahead, either the halfback or fullback.
So 2nd and 1 on the Cleveland 20-yard line. 2:42 left in the game. Charles White, and he got across the 25-yard line.
Cleveland will take their time, and they can get down to the 2-minute warning. See, they'll just stand there in the huddle. There's 2:25. The referee hasn't started the count yet, so they don't have to run another play before the 2-minute warning, and I'm sure they won't.
1st and 10 on the 25-yard line. Mike Pruitt has rushed for 98 yards. Charles White for 61, and Cleo Miller 17. But Brian Stipe, 21 out of 34, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And there it is. We have come down to the 2-minute warning. And the Cleveland Browns, not only dodging a bullet because of the Flint interception, they are now in control of their own destiny with 2 minutes left, and we can duck in scores of other games. Philadelphia leading Washington 26-13 in the 4th quarter. And Buffalo is leading Cincinnati 21-17. The Jets having a big day against Houston, 33-17.
I'm sure the people in New York are saying it's about time.
About time. Pittsburgh leading New England 21-14, so New England really hurting, and Pittsburgh on the way back. Detroit blanking Oakland 13-0 in the 4th quarter, John.
I wonder if they're having trouble with Billy Sims.
Minnesota sitting on top of Green Bay 27-10 in the 3rd quarter.
Minnesota's a team that you can never count out.
Not with Bud Grant there.
That's right. He's an amazing guy.
And Miami-Baltimore even at 14 in the 3rd quarter. And a reminder again, later today, the Giants at Dallas or New Orleans, San Francisco, St. Louis, Tampa Bay. Those folks will be leaving us in about 4 minutes. We have 2 minutes left in the game. 1st and 10, the ball on the Cleveland 25, with Cleveland leading 28-17. The 30-yard line to the 31. He looked like he was tapping people on the shoulders.
How did he sneak through there? He started into this big pile of red jerseys, and he came out the other end about 6 yards up the field.
Kept saying, "Excuse me."
Excuse me. I wonder if he did. Look, he looks like he's smiling. Charles White's happy.
So it'll be 2nd and 3 on the 32 as Brian Sipe, last year's most valuable player, comes walking over to the sidelines.
This was when it was always fun as a coach to talk to a quarterback. You're ahead 28-17. You have the ball, 1:45 seconds, and anything you say makes sense.
And for Sipe, he has a string going. He has now started 52 consecutive regular season games, and it's surprising the attrition at quarterback. Only 3 quarterbacks currently have longer streaks: Jaworski, Ferguson, and Zorn. So with all of his other abilities, he's in there to exercise them. We'd like to remind you again, Sports Saturday next weekend, the champion, Alexis Arguello, defending his lightweight championship against Ray Boom Boom Mancini. And, of course, that's an emotional battle. Mancini's dad wanted so much to go all the way. He was sick, injured, frustrated, and now, of course, he's hoping his son can go all the way and do it for him.
Boom Boom was a high school football player. With a name like that, you have to be.
Charles White with flags on the play as he got out to about the 33-yard line. You have 1:41 seconds, and of course there are a lot of rooters for Boom Boom Mancini from nearby Youngstown. And the penalty will go against Atlanta.
37, defense, first down.
Watch, it's a corner. It's Kenny Johnson. He's up on the line of scrimmage in a blitz situation. How often do you see a corner line up offsides or be offsides?
So with 1:41 left, it is 1st and 10 for Cleveland. The ball on the Browns' 37-yard line. And Sipe just trying to eat up the clock now. He sends Rucker to the right. He has Oden as a tight end on the left side. And he'll go to Mike Pruitt. And Pruitt, even though he was hit behind the line of scrimmage, Laughlin was the first man to get in on him. Mike Pruitt kept going.
Watch the intensity here in the trenches. The guy's down in there, the hitting, heads down. Look at Laughlin in there, just bounces right off him. Pruitt's still going. They're fighting right down to the wire on this one.
And for Mike Pruitt, of course, he's very close to the 100 yards. He and William Andrews have put on some show. Mike Pruitt has carried for 98 yards, and William Andrews 97. Again, we'd like to alert our viewers in New Orleans and St. Louis, the National Football League requires us to leave this game at 3 p.m. Central Time to present the New Orleans-San Francisco game and the St. Louis-Tampa Bay game in their entirety. So we'll be switching New Orleans and St. Louis to those games, and of course those viewers will be kept up to date on the score of this game as well as all the day's action. Not only running out of time in New Orleans and St. Louis, they're running out of time in Atlanta. Their perfect 3-0 record is on the edge of the table, and Brian Sipe and the Browns ready to push it off. Charles White out to about the 40-yard line. Thanks to John Betchko for spotting for us today here in the booth. Particular thanks to Dr. Bob Woods for all his statistical help. You see Cincinnati leading Buffalo 24-21 in the fourth. Ooh. Miami has taken the lead over Baltimore 21-14 in the third. And Brian Sipe has 1 minute and 28 seconds as he talks to Sam Ratigliano, and Lehman Bennett is not in a mood to talk to anybody.
I'll tell you one thing, though. The Atlanta's 3-0, and of course, they're going to lose this one, but they're still in great shape in their division. They're one of the best teams in the whole NFL and in the NFC, and they're sure the best in their division.
And if nothing else, it's still a young ball club and playing a team that might border on greatness for this year. The Cleveland Browns, a lot of people pick them as a Super Bowl team, so it's got to aid the development and maturity of the young Atlanta club.
I'll tell you, we're seeing two fine football teams here, and this is what the National Football League is all about. And this is a great type of competition where you get two teams doing this the way they have today.
3rd and 7 on the 40-yard line of Cleveland. In motion is Ricky Feature. And they'll go wide with Charles White. And he didn't try to cut back, John.
Well, of course, he didn't try and cut back. He knew one thing, that he couldn't go out of bounds. You know, he didn't want to stop the clock because they want to take as much time off the clock as they can.
So Steve Cox, the rookie from Arkansas, he was number 1 in the NCAA. He had an average of 46.5 yards, and his average today, 43.3. His longest punt this year, Steve kicked 156. Meanwhile, Reggie Smith, playing with the broken nose and the special face mask, standing on the 15-yard line.
Super Nat. You know how he got that name, Super Nat?
Well, he's 5'4".
I know, but you know who gave him that name?
No.
He gave it to himself.
Well, he's the kind of player, I'm sure, who needs a little psyching up. When you're 5'4", you're entitled to give yourself a nickname.
That's right, just to get out there. Now, the Browns took too much time, and there's only 33 seconds, and they'll put him back 5 yards, and they'll get into this kick.
That Reggie Smith you're looking at is listed 5'4", 168 pounds.
Delay of game, number 15, offense, 4th down.
He is particularly exciting in Atlanta, where when he goes back as to receive a punt, he'll get the people at that end of the stadium to cheer. He's
like a cheerleader.
Yeah, right. 4th and 10. Steve Cox ready to drive it out of there. It is 28-17 Cleveland. We have 33 seconds left in the game. Can't get through. Reggie will take it at about the 19 with the fair catch. And with 25 seconds left in the game. If if you saw the corner of your eye, it looked like somebody came close to blocking it. It was the rookie Bobby Butler. He'll come in from the right side. Here comes Butler now, number 23.
Right, and he's good at blocking kicks. You know, he blocked a field goal last week. He had 8 of them in college at Florida State.
So with 25 seconds left, Atlanta has come to that stage. They know it's over.
Cleveland has come to the stage where Art Modell calls the defenses. What did you signal in on this one, Art?
First and 10.
He says, okay.
First and 10 on the 19. That's dropped. And Junior Miller, who dropped a touchdown pass, might have been looking up into the sun on that. Maybe.
Could be, but I'm sure he's worried more about the one that he dropped in the end zone when they still had a shot.
And we would like to salute our executive producer of NFL football, Terry O'Neill, the senior producer, Charles Milton III, produced by Michael Burks, and today's game directed by Sandy Grossman, associate producer Joan Vitrano, and to all the fellows who work so hard to get it on the air and keep it there. Vin Scully, along with John Madden, enjoyed the visit in Cleveland, and the Browns are on the move, and the Falcons will be heard from again shortly. Second and 10 from the 19, and Bartkowski down the left side, intended for Alfred Jackson. And coming over and almost picking it off is Dave Logan.
Dave Logan, that was the one that Art Modell
play.
Art Modell called that. He says Sam Rutigliano can coach for 59.5 minutes. He gets the last 30 seconds, and he said he's always wanted to watch offensive players play defense, so put Logan in there and let him throw. If he can catch it on defense, he can catch it on offense.
Art sent a note down to Sam, and it said, I got you this far, you're on your own. Third and 10 on the 19. Well, they have a trips formation, 3 receivers on the left side. And Bartkowski on an alley-oop. Everybody jumped in the schoolyard. And I think it's Dave Logan. It's Dave Logan. Art Modell's play worked, John.
He said he knew it. If he can catch him in the end zone, he can catch the prevent.
You know, Logan can play anywhere. He was drafted, and congratulations to Art Modell.
It's the first time you smiled. That was a great call.
You know, Dave Logan was drafted by the Cincinnati Reds, the Cleveland Browns, and the Kansas City Kings in the NBA. This is an NBA play against the board.
He didn't get his hands up high enough, though. Aren't you supposed to reach to the highest point?
Nice play, Dave, despite the coach. Nice call, Art. First and 10.
Easy to call, hard to do.
Cleveland 47, down goes Sight, and the Falcons go down with him. Good ball game. Congratulations to the Browns for winning, and as we said, the Falcons certainly not disgraced. They'll be heard from again starting next week. So Cleveland is 2-2, and the Falcons are 3-1. There are a lot of people who thought that this might be a Super Bowl preview. Who knows? It's a long road to follow.
Yes, they've already played twice this year. They played in the preseason, and this is the second time. It could very well be a third one. Cleveland winning in the preseason handily. So that's the story from Cleveland. Now this has been Scully for John Madden saying so long from Cleveland Stadium. Once again, the final score, 28-17 Cleveland. Stay tuned to the second half of today's doubleheader. Most of you will see the Giants and the Cowboys. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.